In 1962, a brilliant UFO was tracked across the United States from New York to Nevada. It may very well have been the largest mass sighting of an extraterrestrial object in U.S. history. And when it finally came to rest, it had crashed in the military's own backyard. It raced across the sky over the tiny mining town of Eureka, Utah on April 18, 1962. And high school buddies Dave Redmond and Jerry Sanderson were there to see it.
We had gone for a ride. Jerry was a senior
in high school. And that night we were probably just driving up and down Main Street, which is what we did most of the time.
And we stopped at the east end of the Main Street in Eureka, pulled off the road, and we're sitting there.
First thing I remember about the incident
was the light.
It was a bright light that lit up the entire sky from horizon to horizon.
That I could see.
Whoosh, 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 just deafening.
Unsure what was bearing down on them, the men dove under Bob's truck.
When they got out of the truck, they had left the motor running. And as the object started to approach them, the headlights started to dim and came back.
According to many eyewitness accounts, the UFO headed west and witnessed the explosion.
Fighters were scrambled from Nellis in Las Vegas, Luke near Phoenix, Arizona. The object was tracked on radar, both surveillance radars and height-finding radars, and that's important. It's on two separate kinds of radar, so you don't have weather-related phenomena. You have a real solid object.
Kevin Randall is an author and UFO researcher who maintains that the Air Force deliberately tried to...
They labeled the sightings in Utah using Zulu time, adding 6 hours to it. They labeled the sightings in Las Vegas using the local time. So what it appears is we have a sighting that took place over a period of hours in two separate locations on 2 separate days, 2 distinct events. What really happened was we have a single event that took place over a space of about 16 minutes from the Eureka end of the sightings until it is seen to explode over Las Vegas.
But according to the United States Air Force, the object that streaked over Eureka and Reno was a bull-eyed meteor, a rare but explainable event. Information about the Nellis UFO was deemed insufficient for analysis.
One, they dismiss as an astronomical phenomena, a bolide, which doesn't come down to the ground and take off again and do turns. And the other one, they said there was insufficient evidence to really categorize the sighting, that there was no visual sightings, which is incorrect. If you just look at the headline of the Las Vegas paper the next day, that negates that.
Mark Farmer is a former naval intelligence agent and an expert in secret military weapon systems. He has conducted his own investigation into the events surrounding the spectacular sightings of April 18, 1962.
I estimate that the object probably was traveling more than 2,000 miles an hour at times, because it had to slow down, come low, and it took off, and in the amount of time that elapsed, and the amount of distance it was covered, it was going very fast. We can pretty much rule out most existing aircraft and missiles at that time.
Months after the Nellis explosion, the Air Force Office of Public Information issued this statement, suggesting that the UFO was probably a U-2 spy plane or a weather balloon.
They did say in their report that the crack on the radar seemed to reflect a U-2 or a balloon, and the question becomes, what kind of radar operator couldn't tell the difference between a balloon drifting at the whim of the winds and an intelligently controlled U-2 aircraft? So they were just throwing something out.
But why would the Air Force go to such extremes to mislead the public?
The Air Force has been charged with keeping our skies clear of enemy craft. If they can't stop UFOs, then they clearly can't do their mission. Why should they be funded with billions of dollars when they cannot do the mission they're charged with doing?
The object that flew across the United States on the night of April 18th, 1962, I don't believe was an errant Russian missile or one of our weapons. I believe it was an object under control, intelligent control, and just possibly not from around the neighborhood.
The UFO crash near the Nellis test range seems to indicate that the government's don't ask, don't tell policy Also applies to information about UFOs.